So, here we are. This is the latest, greatest, all-new Trek Madone SL6 road bike for the 2025 season. And in this episode, I will give you the buyer's guide for this bike, and I will also tell you, should you just go ahead and buy it, or should you just shortlist this newest Trek Madone SL road bike. So, hello friends, and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. But before we start, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe because it's gonna help in growing the channel, and of course, if you are already a subscriber, I honestly say thank you very much. So, as I was saying, the newest Trek Madone SL6 now in the 8th generation of this Trek Madone bike, and specifically I want to focus on this Madone SL6 range because I think this is going to be probably the biggest seller of the whole range of the bikes. Of course, above this SL Trek Madone, you have the SLR range of the Trek Madone, a bit more advanced carbon fiber that's used in the frame and the fork, but then the prices just become crazy in my opinion. So let's first answer the question, who is this Trek Madone for? Who is this bike for? So the Trek Madone has always been, in the last few iterations, has always been an aerodynamically optimized road bike, so a classical Aero road bike, designed to go as fast as possible in a straight line, to minimize the drag, and definitely this newest iteration is the same philosophy. So it is an Aero road bike, but in this iteration they've basically lowered the weight of the bike a bit compared to the previous generations. But I have to say immediately that at least when it comes to this Madone SL range, I can't say they are something, specifically very light bikes. We will see when we come to that point, but in my opinion, Trek could have done a bit more work on this kind of lightweight front. So, if you are in the market for the Aero road bike, nicely, low drag, going as fast as possible in a straight line, then of course, definitely, Trek Madone should be on your short list. So now, let's also talk about the paint schemes on this bike, because Trek has always been great in offering different paint schemes on the bikes. So the first paint scheme you have on offer is this beautiful red and black combination, a very classical red and black with a hint of silver combination, but then you still have two more paint schemes to choose from. One is this classically stealth blacked out paint scheme, also, very nice if you like these stealth bikes, and then you also have this beautiful white paint scheme, kind of a snow white paint scheme with a hint of silver and black, also very classical paint scheme. And in this design I'm seeing here the tiny little Trek logo on the bottom of the down tube. This has been done many years ago on some older versions of, I also believe it was the Trek Madone version when it was still, a pure climbing machine. So all in all, I'm super impressed that when you consider the retail price of $5,500, Trek is offering 3 paint schemes to choose from. We will also talk a bit more about this retail price of $5,500 because I think it's very interesting, and I will give you a brief comparison between this Trek Madone SL6 and the Canyon Aeroad CF SLX 7 road bike. So I think Trek has positioned this bike with this retail price of $5,500 in a very interesting sweet spot of the pricing. Okay, so now we can dive into the specifications of this bike and really see what do you get for your hard-earned money. So we kick off with the frame and the fork on this bike. So this frame is the Trek's OCLV 500 carbon fiber frame, and also you have the kind of matching carbon fiber fork on this bike. When it comes to the fork, I have to mention that the Trek is mentioning here that this is a new design of the fork, which is of course much lighter than the previous version, specifically because they've used the kind of I would call it almost a monocoque design with the fork, so the fork is kind of made in one piece design, not like previously of multiple pieces designing the fork. Maybe this is totally new to Trek, but I believe that Giant has been using this manufacturing of the forks for some time now. But again, it's very nice that Trek has managed to, reduce a bit of the weight with this new construction of this carbon fiber fork. Speaking about this carbon fiber frame, of course, the unique point of this frame is always going to be this ISOFlow section at the back, this opening. Trek has developed this initially to gain more compliance in the bike, to get more smoother bike ride. I truly believe that that's possible because, as you see now, the seat post is nicely, kind of exposed, can move a bit, so definitely it's gonna soak up more of the road bumps than if you didn't have this kind of ISOFlow opening here. But of course, this ISOFlow opening also offers a very, very unique design on this Trek Madone, and it's definitely the most unique bicycle currently on the market of all of these other Aero road bikes. So definitely something to stand out with this very, very specific design. And I have to say, with time, the more I observe this design, it's very interesting and it looks kind of very, very nice in person. This carbon frame also comes with 12mm through axles front and back. Absolutely excellent. And also you have a T47 threaded bottom bracket. Again, excellent stuff. Local mechanics will easy service this. There's no problems with this T47 standard. And also this frame is now UDH compatible, comes with the UDH rear mech hanger. So this is this universal derailleur hanger. I think it was originally introduced by SRAM, so from now on probably majority of the Trek lineup is gonna move to the UDH rear mech hanger. I also have to mention here, when you look at some of the smaller pieces, for example the saddle and the seat post, so the saddle is from the Bontrager, so in-house brand of Trek. Bontrager makes some very good saddles. I have one of them and I'm pretty satisfied with this saddle. But since saddles are a personal preference, you might decide to replace it or upgrade it with your desired saddle. It's going to be very easy because nothing is proprietary here. This seat post is a carbon fiber seat post, which is absolutely excellent. It's definitely going to soak up some of the smaller road bumps, and with this ISOFlow design at the back, definitely you will have a smooth bike ride on this Aero Trek Madone. When it comes to the handlebar and the stem, I will just briefly mention here that I'm so glad that both handlebar and the stem are standard pieces. Nothing is proprietary here. As you can see, it's Bontrager aluminum pieces, separate pieces. Very easy to adjust your position, very easy to replace anything in the future if you need. And also, if you look at the cable routing here for the hydraulic disc brakes, they are nicely routed at the bottom of the handlebar, at the bottom of the stem, and then of course it goes into the head tube. This is a classical design that all these Aero road bikes are using, so if you need to service something, it's going to be a bit easier because you have a bit of exposed cables here, but definitely you will need to take it to your local mechanic to do any, serious work which involves, hydraulic disc brakes, or the shifting system on the bike. So just keep that in mind, but this is the reality of all these aerodynamically optimized road bikes lately. Also, I have to mention here with the handlebar and the stem, although the pieces are aluminum, absolutely no complaints here from me, it's perfectly fine. If you want to upgrade, for example, to the carbon fiber handlebar, it's going to be very easy. And as I'm seeing, considering different sizings of the bike, these handlebars at the top, the width can go from like 38, 40, 42 centimeters, which is very nice. So Trek has kind of narrowed a bit this handlebar to get you into a more aerodynamically optimized position. Speaking about the sizing of this bike, Trek has removed their old way of sizing, which was, like 52, 54, 56. And now they are using like the small, medium, large, extra large sizing. So also compared to the previous number of units they had to produce, now it's a bit smaller number of units. I believe now they have 6 sizes and before I think Trek had 8 sizes. So definitely a bit more easier for the Trek dealers, and also people who are choosing the bike. Now you have these classical sizing like Giant has used for years now, from small to extra large, almost like the sizing of the t-shirts you would buy. Okay, moving on to the group set on this bike. So what are you getting for your money? So this is the Shimano's 105 Di2 electronic group set. Shifters, front mech and the rear mech, everything Shimano 105 Di2. This is a 12-speed group set, and with the Shimano systems, it is not a fully wireless system, because you have a cable connection between the front mech and the rear mech, but the shifters communicate wirelessly with the front mech and the rear mech. This is a specific Shimano solution, but make no mistake, this Shimano 105 Di2 group set works perfectly fine, and it's a proper kind of workhorse when it comes to electronic group sets from Shimano. When you look at the chainrings on this bike, it's again a Shimano 105, a double chainring at the front, 50-34 chainrings. It is paired with the 11-34 cassette, which is excellent, so you have this beautiful 1-to-1 gear ratio, and you can definitely climb any steep mountains with this bike. And the chain they are using here is the Shimano SLX chain. So this is the chain from the Shimano's mountain bike world. Again, make no mistakes, you can use any of these 12-speed compatible chains, Shimano 12-speed compatible chains on this group set. So is it from the road bike range or example from the mountain bike range, it's totally fine, whatever is available at that moment when you are buying this bike. So all in, with the group set, Shimano 105 Di2 electronic group set, perfectly fine, and I absolutely have no complaints here with this group set. When it comes to the braking performance, Shimano's 105 hydraulic disc brakes, both front and the back, and also these braking rotors are 160 millimeters front and the back, which is excellent. This is exactly what you need with these Aero bikes, because you can achieve some very high speeds of like, let's say 50 kilometers per hour, so then you need a good stopping power and a good heat dissipation. So 160 millimeter braking rotors are, in my opinion, must have. Sometimes even I would advise some people who are, let's say, doing a long descents from some steep mountains, definitely to upgrade the front disc to 180 millimeter braking rotors, but 160 absolutely fine. Also these RT70 braking rotors, very good. Maybe in the future when you destroy these braking rotors, you can think about upgrading, for example, to the Shimano Ultegra braking rotors, or you can again use the braking rotors like the Shimano SLX, Shimano XT braking rotors from the Shimano's mountain bike world. Now let's talk about the wheelset on this bike and the tires. So you see, this wheelset is the Bontrager Aeolus Elite 35 tubeless ready wheelset, and this is a carbon fiber wheelset. 35 millimeters is the rim height, and if you would buy this wheelset on the open market, the rear wheel is $520 and the front wheel $480. Roughly speaking, we can say it's about $1,000 for this wheelset on the open market. And some of the highlights, as I was mentioning, carbon fiber OCLV carbon fiber wheelset, 35 millimeters rim height. Internally, these rims are 19.5 millimeters. Okay, I wish that they are a bit wider, just because when you mount a tire on this rim, the wider the rim, you will get this beautiful, nicely air volume in the tire. These narrow rims, I'm thinking probably a bunch of manufacturers are going to get rid of these 19.5 millimeter rims and go to something bigger, like maybe 22, 23 millimeter internal rims. The hubs on this wheelset are some kind of Trek/Bontrager own hubs. I believe this design is still kind of inspired by DT Swiss. They have a 24-point engagement, 3-pole system. I'm hoping these are, reliable and good hubs. And tubeless ready wheelset, of course. And the total weight of this wheelset, let me just double check, I saw it somewhere, yes. So 940 grams rear wheel plus 745 grams front wheel, so let's call it, roughly speaking, 1,700 grams for this carbon fiber wheelset. Again, I think it's perfectly fine wheelset out of the box. I'm glad that they've included a carbon fiber wheelset on this bike. Again, when you consider the retail price of $5,500 US. Also, one more thing here I wanted to mention is the total weight of the bike. So Trek is saying that in the size medium-large, this bike is 8.16 kilograms. That means without the pedals. So if you add pedals on top of it, I would say easily somewhere in the region of 8.4 to 8.5 kilograms. So this is the point that I was making. So if the whole brief of this bike was to, make it more aerodynamically optimized and a bit lighter, I wish that this Trek Madone SL6 sits below 8 kilograms. Let's call it, something about 7.8 kilograms without pedals, because this way it's just, I don't see this kind of big weight savings on this new version of the Trek Madone SL compared to the previous version. So this is a bit of a kind of thing that I believe Trek could have worked a bit harder on, just to decrease the weight and even a bit more. Also, I promised here that I will make a brief comparison with the Canyon Aeroad CF SLX 7, just because on the regular price of this Canyon Aeroad CF SLX 7, it is $5,700 US. Of course, as you see now, there is a huge discount where you can get this Canyon for $4,900 US, available in all sizes from small, medium, large, extra large. But let's compare it with the regular price of $5,700 US, because I think it's a proper competitor to the newest Trek Madone SL6. So with this Canyon, again, a superb carbon fiber frame and the fork. This is their mid-level, their CF SLX carbon fiber frame and the fork with a press-fit bottom bracket with 12mm through axles front and the back. And with this Canyon, you are also getting a carbon fiber handlebar and the stem, one-piece solution. You are getting a carbon fiber seat post. This is a Selle Italia saddle on this bike, and of course the biggest difference is that the Groupset on this bike is the SRAM rival ETAP access. So this is a fully wireless Groupset, so shifters, front mech and the rear mech communicate fully wirelessly. Also the SRAM rival chainrings, double chainrings at the front, SRAM rival cassette, and the SRAM rival chain, all in this Groupset. And I have to mention here that also with this bike you are getting a SRAM power meter, which are very good power meters. Accuracy is very good. People are not complaining about these power meters. And DT Swiss ARC 1600 carbon fiber wheels, which are absolutely stunning wheels with DT Swiss 240 hubs. 60mm deep rims are these, I believe, or 65. So this is a much more advanced, wheelset than that Bontrager wheelset on the Trek. So this is, in my opinion, DT Swiss still makes the best wheels on the market. And this wheelset is wrapped in the Continental GT5000 STR tires. I forgot to mention the tires on the Trek Madone. I believe they are the Bontrager R3 hard case tire, 28mm tires front and the back, which is excellent, nice air volume here. This should be an absolute minimum in today's bikes to have 28mm tires front and back, and tubeless ready tires. And this Trek Madone SL frame and the fork can accept easily 32mm tires as measured, and this means that you will still have few millimeters on each side of the frame and the fork available. I think it's like 4mm each side. So all in, it's kind of almost like a bulletproof, frame and the fork for the future, because you can easily mount 32mm tires. With this Canyon Aeroad, out of the box, the tires are 28mm at the back, 25mm at the front. So again, I wish that that both tires are 28mm, but it's easy to just change these tires. So all in all, you have to consider this, Canyon Aeroad CF SLX 7 as the biggest competitor to the Trek, but with the retail price of $5,500 US, I believe that Trek has positioned this bike very nicely in the market, because again, if you look at the equivalent specialized bike, which would be the specialized SL8, I believe that bike currently retails for about $1,000 more than this newest Trek Madone SL6. So again, a very good positioning of this bike. And of course, don't forget that with Trek you will get their lifetime warranty on the carbon fiber frame and the fork, while with the Canyon it's a 6 years warranty. So after all this kind of long waffle, what is my advice to you? Should you just go ahead and buy this bike, or should you just consider it? Well, I believe that if you are in the market for the Aero road bike, aerodynamically optimized road bike, you should definitely shortlist this Trek Madone SL6 in the 8th generation of this bike, just because when you look at the main competitor to this bike, which I think is the Canyon Aeroad CF SLX 7, if we are looking at the classical retail price without any discounts, then both of these bikes sit about $5,600 US. So Trek has positioned it very well, and the only negative thing I can kind of say about it is that I wish that this bike is a bit lighter than kind of 8.5 kilograms ready to ride. If they would drop it to about 8 kilograms, it would absolutely be a stunning offering. But all in all, very good effort from Trek, a very good Trek Madone SL6, and I truly believe they will sell a lot of them. So this is going to be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, keep on watching, keep on liking, and as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Cheers!